I don't know if it's commitment or not, but the plan is to go up to 2% of GDP until 2028. That is what the Defense Forces said they need in time for doing that, because we have given them the question to answer that, how fast and effective can you do it? And they have answered 2028.
But in terms of what's going on in the region now with the actions that you and Finland are enacting as well, do you fear a militarization in the Baltics? The Russians have already been talking about retaliation, been talking about putting more nuclear weapons in Kaliningrad. How do you react to that, and do you believe there is now an arms race in the Baltic?
I cannot answer you about what the Russians are going to do. They already have nuclear weapons in Kaliningrad. What will happen, what we want is to have some sort of security assurances, and that means that we can have naval vessels from different NATO countries in Baltic Sea, that we also get help with Air Force. We can have exercises on the army side together, different countries, and we can also handle cyber threats together.
So you talked about the assurances that NATO will give you, but it also has Article 5, which could potentially drag Sweden into a war with Russia. Is that a realistic proposition?
First of all, you cannot get Article 5 commitments before you are a member of NATO. That is number one. And then number two, the history is that no NATO country have never been attacked. The only attack we have had that have opened up for Article 5 is 9/11 in the United States, and then the answer came in Afghanistan.
In terms of your journey on this as well, I know you were against NATO membership as late as November last year. How difficult has it been for you, for the party and the country, to move to this decision now, from the Social Democrats at least, to move towards NATO membership?
First of all, military non-alignment has no party identity to do, so it's a big change that we have done. It's not an easy process, but we have made it in a very fast process. But it's not easy, and there are also questions about this in the party. But we have very big, broad majority, big unity in our party board around this now. So we are very clear that now we go further with application for NATO membership, and that is because of the Russian war in Ukraine and the threat to the European security order.
But there have been threats to European security for the 200 years that Sweden 200 years plus that Sweden has had non-alignment as well. People don't expect the Vladimir Putin regime potentially to last for decades ahead. This is a multi-year decision you're making on the basis of one regime in the Kremlin, isn't it?
Yes, and that they have started the first big war in Europe since 1939. So I think it's, from an historical point of view, a great thing that happened. And it's a brutality and cruelness and evilness in this that are out over all borders. So I think we have a big change, and we must also feel that when we have a big change, we must be ready to act in some way.
And final question, sir. The Russians have been testing Sweden's borders for a long, long time as well. Do you expect it to go to a different level now in terms of testing Sweden, whether it be through cyber warfare, actually flying planes into your territory? How do you think that's going to manifest itself?
Yeah, it can happen.
But it's going to happen in a more meaningful way, according to the Russians already.
I don't know what they will do, but it can happen. They can violate borders. They can make cyber attacks. They can make hybrid activities, sabotage, use military tools. They have a whole scenario they can use, but it hasn't happened yet, and we will see what's happened. But we have prepared ourselves, and we need these assurances to handle this sort of situation.